Hello and welcome to Mostly Minnesota Music. I'm Ann Tracy. I'm here with my co-host.
Heather Baker.
Yes, and we're excited to talking about something so seasonal with our guest today. We are here with Ben Cook Feltz. Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. You are a Minneapolis singer-songwriter. I always think of you playing keyboard, but you play a lot of things.
Well, I play the keys and I play the drums, and there are many different kinds of drums that I can play. So I suppose so. I'm not a guitar player, but I
Okay.
do play keys and drums. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, just for folks who haven't seen you before, tell us just a little bit about you.
Sure. I am originally from Iowa. I have made Minneapolis my home for the last 16 years. I did study percussion in school, and I'm a self-taught piano player. And I've been writing songs most of my life. I lead a band. We call ourselves something of a cross between Paul Simon and Weird Al Yankovic, is basically where my music comes from. And I also do a lot of side work with a lot of different players in town and try to make as much music as I possibly can on a regular basis.
You have a phrase I don't know if I saw it on your website or someplace, and an in-demand side guy.
I try to be, yeah.
I love that, and I will tell you very quickly. I had a friend many years ago. He's no longer with us. In fact, he probably hasn't been with us for 10 or 15 years. He played the bagpipes.
Oh.
We would often say, Fitzy, we would say Fitzy was the most optimistic bagpipe player because he's the only bagpipe player who wore a beeper.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's great.
I saw that line and I was like, that sounds like the kind of side guy who's going to wear a beeper just in case, not to just age the story entirely, but that's.
Hey, yeah. I'm sure if beepers were a thing, I would probably have one these days. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I've seen you in all range of places, and I can't remember the name of it, but I remember the strangest place that I ever saw you play is the quietest place in Minnesota at a studio, and I'm gonna have to remember it now. And I think you're playing with Ellen.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh boy.
I should have looked it up before.
Yeah, it was the kind of that little, like a silent room sort of a thing. Yeah, boy. Something, not Eagle. I do not remember.
I will add it in the notes because it's too hard to remember, but the Guinness Book of World Records has called it the quietest place in the world.
We were only in there for a very short time, but apparently if you're there for more than a couple of minutes, you start to hear your heartbeat. And I mean, it really kind of plays tricks with your mind. It's pretty amazing.
I'm trying to remember if I brought my daughter, who is a few years ago now. She's 16 now. She was probably 12 or, it was this is a few years ago. But yeah, we stayed there long enough to think we could.
Yeah. Well, and that space, I mean, it used to be a recording studio of some note. I mean, I know that Bob Dylan recorded there, Cat Stevens recorded there, a lot of other people long time ago. And of course, I cannot remember what it's called now.
I know we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's because what we want to get back to the season. You spent your quarantine working on a Christmas album.
Indeed. All summer and fall, a record called Merry BCFing Christmas. It came from being in quarantine and wanting to do something creative. I don't know what any of you your experience has been, but for me, it felt very hard to actually write music during all of this because just the anxiety of the situation we were in made it very, very hard for me to just feel creative or feel like creating things. But Christmas music is something that I absolutely love, and I've wanted to do a Christmas album for some time now. And as soon as my brain kind of latched onto this project, it just made so much sense, and it was just all the wheels started turning. It was just great to focus on music that already existed, but that I could kind of get creative in arrangement with, and then also stay in contact with so many of my musician friends. Just kind of try to keep busy a little bit, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been pretty wonderful.
I first heard about it. Katie Vernon and I were walking
Yes.
around Como Lake, and
Yep.
I think she was going right after that to play with you.
Yeah, Katie's on the record. She takes part in this duet that we do. So before I get too far into discussing the music, there's a lot on this record. Some of it is very reverent. I'd say 90% of it's very reverent. 10% is a little bit more playful. And Katie sings on one of the more playful songs.
Okay.
It's a kind of a mashup of Canon in D with Sleigh Ride. And Katie, it's actually a duet between me and Katie. She sings a good half of the song, and yeah, she's great on it.
Nice. Yeah, you have a good, and we've just got a pre-listen to a couple of different songs, which was a nice blend of that, because you have a song, Mannheim.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that song, because that's going right for the very serious.
Oh yeah, the very serious, very reverent. Yeah, it's the only original song on the record, and it is basically about one man's undying love for all things Mannheim Steamroller. It does come from a little bit of truth. I mean, I really like Mannheim Steamroller music, but I also understand the cheese factor in all of it. So the song is as much a tribute to and a parody of every Mannheim Steamroller song you've ever heard from the 80s and 90s. So yeah.
I think you've got to be able to embrace the cheese when you're talking about Christmas music, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to, like, a couple of the other songs sort of poke fun at that too. I mean, we grow up singing these songs that we dearly love, but they're pretty ridiculous. I mean, a lot of the songs have just lyrics that don't make a lot of sense when you put a little bit of scrutiny to it. But I still love them, and so yeah.
Yeah, you have an interesting look on Winter Wonderland.
Yeah, yeah, so Winter Wonderland is one of those songs that I've sung pretty much all of my life, and it's just, a couple of years ago, I just kind of took a step back and thought more about what it is you're actually singing. I mean, it's just this kind of nightmarish, weird song that takes place at nighttime with birds singing and flying around and snowmen who come to life and kids frolicking at like 10 o'clock at night, knocking down snowmen. And it's just very, very bizarre, but it is a beautiful song and it's really happy and fun to sing. So, that's where we're at with that.
And that is and Lydia, Liza, folks have taken a look at sort of the darker side of some of the Christmas, and you have avoided that.
Yes, absolutely. That is not my place to discuss.
But there are a lot of times, but especially as a kid, figgy pudding. I have sung a lot more about figgy pudding than I've ever actually seen or eaten.
Yeah. One of my favorites is, it's not on this record, but the song "Do You Hear What I Hear," which I love. But one of the first lines is about a star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite. Like, when you think of the size of a star and the size of a kite, that analogy just doesn't match up at all. But, we still sing it.
That's an Austin Powers 1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
It must be at least 10 feet behind that star. That's no, you've loved Christmas songs your whole life. Is that the?
Yeah. Yes.
And you have a son who
I do.
a year and a half. Is he 2 yet?
He just turned a year and a half.
Okay. That's what I was
months.
thinking.
Yeah.
And now does he love Christmas songs? Do you know? I mean, it's
well, he loves music. I'm not sure that he knows the difference between what's a Christmas song and what's not yet. He does have toys that play Christmas music like year round, and he seems to really enjoy it. But no, I'm not sure yet. I have a feeling he will. I'm certainly hopeful. I mean, my love for Christmas and Christmas music and everything about it really came from my parents, most especially my dad. So it's certainly my hope to pass that love on, but we'll see.
I have 3 children, and the middle one is the one who, like, November 1st, she puts it on to 108 or whatever station plays Christmas music starting at about July 5th.
Oof. Yeah.
And there is just some, she loves it. She could listen to it all the time. She's,
Mhm.
I love her. She's very creative. She loves art, and sometimes she can be quite crabby.
Okay.
Especially she's 20 now, but
Okay. I was gonna
she's
ask how
been a
old she is.
crabby year or two. Just soothe the beast right there, putting on some, and she just could
Yeah.
listen to it all.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I grew up in a very well-adjusted, functional family, but as a teenager, there's always those times when it's like you're not always just going to get along with everybody.
Right.
But one of the things that we always had was Christmas and Christmas music. I mean, all of my brothers, we all have that same kind of embedded love. So it does, it I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's definitely something in the family.
No, when you say you have it, did you play? Did you sing together?
Well, yeah, mostly we would just listen to it.
Oh,
We would drive around looking at Christmas lights, listening to Christmas music. We didn't really, we do have a tradition now of gathering around the piano and singing Christmas songs around
nice.
Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. But honestly, that's something that we only started doing within the last 10 years. But yeah.
There is something about, especially if you have to drive to go to grandma's house and all.
Right. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
guess I think about it when I was a kid, and that would be the time that we could turn off the country station and listen to Christmas music for a little bit,
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It's a fun, yeah, it's amazing. So tell us some more about some of the people. I mean, you've got an amazing lineup of folks who are joining you on this album.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's quite a wide variety. Jillian Ray is on here, Sarah Morris, Mother Banjo, Doug Otto, Doug Collins, Dan Gorder, Daddy Squeeze Newton. I'm just kind of trying to go through a few. Taylor Donsky, Haley Rydell, really just the OK Factor, which is I don't know if you're familiar with them, but
yeah,
I love them so much. And it really, I just, these are all people that I've either worked with professionally or I'm friends with, and they're all just such great musicians. And it was fun to get so many different people involved, especially in this current situation.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
what a treat for them.
Right, exactly. The fact that we could still kind of make music, even though, a good half of the people that are on this record did their stuff remotely for various, obvious reasons. We were still able to actually be connected and talk music and make music. And one of the things that was really fun for me was how much joy it seemed to bring people that they were making Christmas music in July and August. It was something that I got to live in for a few months, but just for them to kind of like dip in and do a Christmas song and just like say, this is so great and so weird. I mean, like that brought me a lot of joy to be able to kind of facilitate that.
Well, I think especially this summer, I mean, it just,
yeah,
things just went from bad to worse, and
yeah,
we are recording this at a time where we're not sure what's happened entirely with the election yet.
Yeah, there's that. And of course, right now it seems like they're saying that we're in the third wave of COVID. To me, it kind of feels like it's never really unwoven, but
Right.
we're so it is very uncertain. And so yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Christmas music is going to be the balm that heals all of this, but it is
balm.
A balm, exactly, something to hopefully take your mind off just a little bit and focus on the things that we draw on as traditions, the thing that bring us together, and hopefully provide a little bit of joy.
Have you thought about it? Because I mean, I think this school's closed, that school's closed. I have sister in Chicago, the restaurants and the bars are closed. So the writing is on the wall. I don't think any of us will be surprised if things kind of lock back again as they did, back in March and April.
Yeah.
Are there any plans for any online concerts, any online shows for this?
Yes. So anyone that contributes to the Kickstarter, which you can access by going to tinyurl.com/BCF Christmas. Anyone who contributes to that, I will be doing a show for all the backers at some point in early December. I will probably also do something else as a more general public thing. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do. But yeah, I have a feeling there will be a few online shows. That's about the limit of what I'm doing, understandably. I sort of hope that once things get back to relative normal, if come the summertime we're able to do something, it'd be kind of fun to do, like, BCF's rockin' backyard summer barbecue Christmas jam in
That would be.
Yeah.
You'll have to barbecue turkeys.
Yes. Barbecue goose.
Well, and that gives us an opportunity to ask you to stop and step back and tell us about the Kickstarter.
Sure.
From the beginning.
From the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is a Kickstarter. For those of you who are not aware what a Kickstarter is, it's basically a way of pre-ordering a record or doing other gifts that kind of help fund the process of making the record. So the album is done, but right now there are still expenses to get the record mastered, to make CDs, and more importantly to kind of cover the cost of paying all of these artists that contributed to the record, because they're my friends, but they're professional musicians, and I want to pay them what they're worth. And so you sign up for this Kickstarter and you kind of help back the project. I have a lot of great possibilities to sign up for, fun little gifts, ranging from just having a copy of the record autographed to having my band come and carol outside your house, socially distantly. I also have things where I will do my darndest and bake some goods for you as part of a care package that I'll put together with some cocoa and the record and everything like that. I do also have a Merry BCFing Christmas ornament.
Oh. Yeah, we can see it well there. Nice. That is great.
Yeah. And if you're feeling really generous, for $3,000, my guitar player Cole will come over to your house and give your cat a bath.
Okay. I think if you make it a dog, and I think if you don't mind sizes, you might have a deal with Heather.
All right. Great.
Oh my gosh. I love the caroling.
Yeah. It would be, it would be fun to do. Obviously we have things in place, like, please be within the Twin Cities area. Don't make us go to Montana to carol outside your house. And, we do it socially distantly, but yeah, caroling is something that I feel like, I wouldn't say it's a lost art, but it definitely feels like something I did a lot more of when I was a kid, as opposed to in this day and age. So it'd be kind of fun to bring it back.
That is funny, because I think about, somehow I caroled when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Heather, did you carol as a kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I can't think of anyone. And I sold a house recently, but I lived in the place for 15 years. We knew all the kids. We were busy for things. Yeah, I think
This doesn't happen.
I think you should be the champion to bring that back, and this is the year to do it.
I do.
Well, I don't know if this is the year to do it, but
well, you can do it remotely-ish. I mean,
yeah.
Outside, and everybody has to be in their house. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, that is true. That's also a way of, kind of saying hello in there, like keeping in contact with people. So yeah.
And people have come up with their amazingly inventive devices to get candy to trick-or-treaters.
Oh, that's true.
PVC piping or whatever. So if they could just turn that PVC pipe into a whiskey luge.
Well, there
or
you
something,
go.
Eggnog or something.
Yeah, or more simply, just do the old kind of walkie-talkie thing with 2 styrofoam cups and some string. Just feed it through the window and then sing into it, and they can listen, and it'll be great.
Oh, I think that's. But kudos for coming up for some amazing
Oh, thank you.
prizes, rewards for people who are able to donate. And while it's on topic, the Kickstarter's open for another 10 days.
It's going until this coming Wednesday.
Is it that the 14th?
The 11th?
The 11th? The 11th.
Mhm.
Okay.
Until Wednesday the 11th.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm going to be sure to put this in the notes because I think that's Kickstarter to support the album. And what I really like about that is also to support, a number of local musicians.
Right. Absolutely. It's that's the main thing is that I don't know if there's ever a misconception about this, but just to make sure there isn't, it's not like I'm asking for a lot of money for me to go woohoo and then walk away or something like that. I mean, most of this is going back to the artists that performed on the record, because again, they did wonderful work, and especially right now for so many of us, I mean, this is our livelihood that has just taken a huge hit. And so playing on one album is not going to make up for that, but any little amount does help. And so
And for those of us who love music, it's an investment in knowing that there will be more Minnesota music next year.
Right. Exactly. I like that.
I think that it's important for people to recognize that really is what it is. It's, it seems like with COVID and there's a gap. There's some people whose financial situation has not changed. Right. I work all online. There's not a lot of change for me as far as things go. I mean, Heather, you're kind of in the same. It's not a lot of change as far as I may work more or fewer hours in different time. It's not that the job hasn't changed, but that hasn't changed. And then there are people, especially in the music industry, in a lot of the arts industries, any of the hospitality industries, where it's just been and for those of us who the financial hasn't changed, what's changed is we can't travel, we can't go out, we can't. So this is something that you can very directly do.
Right, exactly. From the comforts of your own home. I do feel that. I mean, not only being a musician, but my day job, I work in ticketing at Park Square Theater. I'm the ticket office manager. And I mean, it's the same thing. Like so many actor friends of mine that we're just kind of hurting and struggling through it with a whole heap of uncertainty.
Yeah. I think about that, and I think about the Park Square and what a role that they've played really in educational theater.
Yep, absolutely.
My heart breaks a little bit for the actors and everyone, but for the students as well.
Oh yeah. There's a whole. I mean, and it's the same thing with not only theater but with shows, with everything. I mean, there's so many experiences that we're losing right now, and so it is important to try and keep the coffers going just a little bit to ensure that there will be a thriving art community waiting for us on the other side of this. And I'm pretty confident that there will be, but it still helps.
Yeah. Heather and I had a rare opportunity last week to go to First Avenue for
the costume contest or
for the costume contest. Yes. I'm being honest, it's not an event either one of us would have gone to last year, but it was a chance to go to First Avenue. I mean, we're live music fans, but it's different.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Park Square, I'm not sure if you know, but Park Square recently merged with Stepping Stone Theater.
Yes.
Another wonderful resource for students to come see shows. And we did an outdoor event on the plaza in downtown St. Paul just about a week and a half ago for Halloween. And it was ridiculous because it was snowing the entire time, and we were all freezing, but just to see, and we kept it obviously limited to 50 people at a time, but to see so many people and to see so many children, and they were just so engaged and excited to be doing something again. I mean, it was heartwarming. I mean, it's something that we've all taken it for granted for so long,
I didn't realize they were doing. I mean, I knew about the merger because my kids used to take all of the Stepping Stone classes.
Oh, sure.
The long story is I built their website so the kids got to take class, but they loved them. They loved doing them for many years, and then Yeah, and then I have loads of connections with Park Square. So do you know of anything they're going to be doing? And not to shift gears for a second, but let's shift gears for a second. Have they got anything upcoming that
A
that
few
you need to know
things.
about?
No, a few things. Not anything in the near future. We're all talking about a little bit of virtual programming, and the possibility for some, like because the Halloween event was such a success, of doing more things like that, weather determining, outdoors, to kind of keep people engaged. And I know that there's talk. I don't want to speak for anyone. I know there's talk of some classes resuming, be they virtual or not. But that's pretty much all I can say right now.
No, that's good.
We're calling it an extended intermission throughout this whole period. So
Nice. It's been interesting to see what different theaters have done with that. I think
yes, it has. And you know, we don't want to. The last thing we want to do is hedge our bets and say, oh, we'll be back up in May, and then it turns out that we absolutely won't be. You know, it's just a long slog. It's the same thing with music. I mean, when things started to open up, in late May, um, another musician contacted me about doing a show at a bar in August. And at the time, it was a gamble, and I thought, well, you know, why not sign up for it and all that? But then as time went on, it was obvious that wasn't going to happen. There's just a lot that we don't know about.
Right. And it's tough, and and we've gone to see a few shows, and I'd say we won't say, but there's one show that I know that Heather and I went to together where it did not feel that comfortable. And we've been to plenty of shows where it has felt comfortable. And I'm trying to think if I've been to a show inside. I think they've all been outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, in some places do a better job than others, but
Yep.
when you talk about outside in Minnesota, as you said, we had snow 2 weeks. It was cold 2 weeks ago.
Yes, it was. I did some outdoor gigs this summer, that I was generally comfortable with. There was one place, and I'm not gonna poo-poo it or anything like that, but there was one place that was definitely not as I wasn't as comfortable playing there, given the way that they had it set up. But yeah, one of the places that I played outdoors just happened to be the first weekend in October, which should have been a nice mild fall thing, but it ended up being 30 degrees. And, you know, we had a little propane heater, but like I was losing feeling in my fingers as I was playing. I mean, that's just not something you can sustain as the cold months come on.
No. And playing piano is bad enough. That's when you're glad you don't play guitar.
Yeah.
That'd be even worse.
That would be much, much worse. Absolutely.
Much worse. Unless, of course, it were a Christmas album, and then it would totally be worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely worth it. Thankfully, we got nice warm temperatures when we were recording the Christmas album.
Well, I remember, I remember. What does that do to the rest of your day? Do you start drinking eggnog? Are you suddenly having peppermint pancakes for breakfast?
You know, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, because I do hold Christmas music so sacred, and I wondered if it was going to affect everything else. Honestly, it didn't. I think part of the reason it didn't was because this year has just been so strange that just, you know, nothing has been normal since early March. So of course I was going to drive over to someone's house in early July and, you know, sing The Little Drummer Boy. Like, of course I was going to. It's 2020. Why not? It was remarkably not strange to do this. Yeah.
Well, and again, what kind of a gift to everyone. And being honest, 2020 is a really hard call to know when to hold them, know when to fold it. You know, when do you lean into everything that's going on? And
Sure.
I do a lot of work with the Women's March. I do a lot of leaning into. I was at a protest earlier today. All right. And when do you sort of say, we need a break. We need a break, and we need a
right. Well, and that's one of the things that, because of Christmas music, generally speaking, there are a few exceptions, but generally speaking, Christmas music is pretty timeless. So those are questions you don't even need to get into. I think. I mean, I think if I just put out a bunch of songs right now that were just happy poppy, hey, we're great, everyone would be like, what are you talking about? This is, I don't want to hear this right now, you know.
Yeah.
But there is something special and something so self-contained about Christmas music that my personal feeling is that it kind of, those questions aren't part of the equation. I might be wrong. I don't know what you think, but
No, I think that, I mean, they're just, there's comfort in stuff that you know.
mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, stuff you know feels like home. Whatever
Yeah.
that means to you. It's,
Yeah.
you know, so that,
Exactly.
speaking of home, and although I'm a St. Paulite, I know some people are from how does Fancy Ray fit into this? I saw somewhere that Fancy and you might have to give a one sentence introduction to Fancy Ray for anybody who's listening and is,
Oh boy.
I don't know how you would know, but
I don't know how you could fit it into one sentence. Well, Fancy Ray, he's the self-proclaimed best-looking man in comedy. I think he's just kind of a Minneapolis treasure. You've probably, depending on how old you are, how long you've lived in Minnesota, I'm sure you've seen him on some late night commercials advertising things of various nature. He's a comedian and a showman and a spokesperson for pretty much anything that you throw his way. I think he will do it, but he'll do it gladly and not cynically. I've known him for about 12 years now. He goes to, for many years, I was the music director at a spiritual center in the Twin Cities, and Fancy Ray attends that center. So I knew him through that. And it was just, I don't know, it just felt like the right thing to have him involved in this, because every time I think of Fancy Ray, it just makes me smile.
mm-hmm.
And that just seems so perfect for the spirit of the project that I was creating.
Nice. I can't wait to see some of that. And here is my question. Are there portions of the music? Can anyone get a sneak glimpse at this point of what's going on?
You will by this weekend.
Okay.
I'm going to be launching 2 songs on Bandcamp, the original, the Mannheim, as well as a cover of the Gordon Lightfoot Song for a Winter's Night, which will feature Dan Gorder, Tom Nordland, and Sarah Morris on.
Nice.
So there'll be a couple of songs. And then I do have some, if you go to my Facebook page, my music page, I have previous live streams that I have done where I'm promoting this Christmas record, and I play a few tunes from there. So there's a few opportunities to at least get a little sample of what's coming. I don't want to.
Well, good, and our timing is
too much.
perfect because we have something to look forward to now to see some of this live this weekend.
There you go. There you go.
That's good. Well, remind folks where they can see you, learn more about the album.
Sure.
Start your kick, all that.
To start my kick, you can go to tinyurl.com/bcfchristmas. And then to just find out more about what I do, who I generally play with, when I'm playing shows, where I would be playing them, you can go to my website, bencookfeltz.com. But then you can also find my music on pretty much all the places you would expect to find music: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, Bandcamp, pretty much everything. And so yeah, I mean that's pretty much that's where you can find my stuff. And then hopefully sooner rather than later, you will be able to see me playing at some venue on any given night in the cities, because I dearly miss that.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Knock on wood for that one. So yeah. Yes. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been on a rough week. It's been a great night.
Yep. Yes. Thank you so much for
having
having me on. Yeah. Thank you. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you.